Hey guys, welcome back. Let's get started. Right, this is the bear version. You can see we have a channel here. It's, every time we bounced off the bottom of this channel, we progress to the top of the channel. Similarly, we made a low on 25th Jan, bounced off the top of this, when to find resistance here. And again, on Friday, we bounced, we based around here, and then we bounced off of the end of this channel, or it used it as support once more, and now we're trying to hit the top of this channel. So this is still the bear version, right? I have this in a WXY count, right? It's making a set of threes everywhere, and Barksworth honestly pointed this out to me, and I completely agree with her stance on the market. So this is kind of what I have, right? I'm looking to see if the bottom of this channel holds, right? If it does, then I think the market will come test 4013 and 3842. But similarly, I have another version, right? This is the bull and bear one, and this could have been an expanded flat correction, right? This B, you can see progress to the 1.272, extension of the A wave. So that's honestly, matches the wave requirements for an expanded flat. So I do think that if we were, as I pointed out, right, we were in this parallel channel. If we were to break the top of this channel, right, then I would be bullish for a move to in the resistance at, there's a gap fill there. This is on the ES, but on SPY, there's a gap fill, 470, 467. So that's where I'll be anticipating a move. So that's kind of my outlook on the market. If my first, right, I prefer the fact that it would reject this and come down, but you have to be prepared for both sides, right? If it were to break this resistance, then you have to flip your view, and there are a ton of oversold stocks on which you can, kind of play calls. So with that in mind, let's watch this for this week, right? So on this week's playlist, you'll see some familiar plays from last week as well. So the first one I got is snow. So let's look at snow, right? You can see that this same as the market, the snow does have a channel downwards, which it has been using as support and resistance. And you can see that now we're, testing the top of this channel. So I personally think, snow will, it did gap down, right? But as long as this channel, holds as resistance on snow, I think it's still, going to sell off in the earnings, right? It has earnings coming up on the 3rd of March, which is soon, but I do think it is headed for a fifth wave lower. But again, if it can break over this channel, right? I gave the downward targets here, but let's discuss the upward targets as well. If snow was to break 285, and it's going to hit 295, right? But and this you can see is the volume shelf, right? You can see there's a significant volume shelf here. So if it breaks 295, then it's really, really bullish. I think snow can test, 376. So this is the area I do think, snow is likely to find some resistance and make a move downwards. But snow was to break, then I have really bullish targets of 330, first resistance, then I have 375. So those would be the bullish things. But as long as this area holds resistance, I think snow will move down. So which I got it on this week's watch list. The next play I have for this week is Baba. Baba, you can see, is in this bullish pennant, and the overnight futures gapped us below this pennant, right? So for confirmation, I had, a break below 130.60 here, right? A break below 130.60 for put. So if it breaks and stays below 130.60, you can see it broke this bearish pennant, and then it's headed to 96 and then 90. So those are my targets on Baba. Let's say if, reverses upwards, my bull trigger is at 109.3. If it breaks 109.3, then I think Baba can hit 115 and, progress and make new highs. So those are my bull and bear levels on Baba. The next one I got is coin, right? Coin, the same as Baba. You can see that this was, the trend line that's been the purple dashed line, right? That's the trend line that's been acting as resistance on the top, and it also has a channel, at the bottom. And right now you can see that I kind of have coin like in an ending diagonal pattern, right? I think this fifth wave will finish as an ending diagonal. But so here are my bull and bear levels, right? If coin can break over this, bear wick that it made at 201, you can see it's also breaking this channel. in that case, I'm bullish to coin for like 261, 300. I think coin has a lot of room to the upside. As I discussed, right? If ES breaks upwards like this, then I think coin as well, will be one of the oversold stocks I mentioned that could make a bullish move like that. But this is a really bearish rejection, right? So it's kind of why I think coin, same as BABA, is going to sell off, kind of have it in the ending diagonal pattern. So I do think it could, come to test 145, 127. If it breaks 201, then bullish to 250, 270. So those are your bull and bear levels on coin, right? The next one I have is GDX. I still don't think commodities are done yet, and it is still, holding this breakout channel that GDX actually was in. If I zoom out, you can see that this is the channel GDX is in. It's broken out, and so again, I mentioned this was the important level of resistance to break. It got over that, but it completely, gold had a really bad candle, oil had a really bad candle, so silver had a really, really ugly candle. So all of that, led to a massive sell, but it is still holding the breakout level, which is why as long as it can get over this resistance, I still think GX, has a shot to 40. The next one is XLB. Let's look at the chart for XLB. You can see that I can count, 5 waves to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see this channel has been holding a support. So I do think XLB, obviously it would have gapped down. So if it can get over last week's high at 84, then I think XLB, the next major resistance is at 87. So I'm bullish for like, a $3 move on the sector ETF. So I like XLB as long as it can hold over the previous week's high at 84.3. The next one I have is ROKU. So why am I bearish on ROKU? You can see this does look like an ABC, right? This pattern does not look very impulsive. It does look like a counter trend move to the upside, right? And it satisfies the wave requirements that we have, right? If ROKU wants to make a wave 5 move, I think 145 would be the max. It goes. And it also has a gap fill to 142. So this pattern is valid, right? But ROKU is an oversold stock. And as I mentioned, if the market is making an expanded flat move rate, if ROKU can break over 148, 150, that would be the bull trigger to 200 and higher, right? But if ROKU were to, it can, as I mentioned, go to 145, right? Or if it breaks these lows at 130, then ROKU is going to, sell off to the downside. So that's what I have for ROKU. That's why I'm bearish on it. I do think it's doing a counter trend move. But as always, here's your bull trigger for ROKU as well. The next one I have is Rivian, right? You can see the Rivian could not get over this pattern. Tried to, had a massive rejection, again made a lower high, had a massive sell-off, and had a counter trend bounce, and now it's still, holding below this level. So personally, for me, if Rivian, were to, you can see there are wicks here. If it breaks below these wicks, ultimately, safe confirmation would be waiting for a break of 60, right? If it breaks 60, then it will make new lows, right? 50, and I'd say 49. It's possible for Rivian. If you want to take it before the trigger, 62. And if you want a bull trigger, I'd say wait for a 67 break. That would be bullish to 87. So those are my bull and bear levels on Rivian. And so that's the wave list for this week, right? Have a good trading week, and I'll see you guys later.